It's confession time. I don't outline my books. I don't map them out. I don't plot every twist and turn. And I definitely don't know how Cole Harper's novel is going to end when I start writing it. Now, that may sound like chaos, and it is, but it works because writing a story is not the same as following a blueprint. It's not the same as building a house or putting together IKEA furniture, which that's a nightmare all of its own. But if you've read my books, you know that's exactly how Cole Harper operates. He's usually figuring it out as he goes while he's being chased by someone who wants him dead. And a, a story, a good adventure story, it's more about discovering what happens next, just one bad decision at a time. So, how do I write a book without planning every detail in advance? It's simple. Start with one thing, just one. It can be a scene, a moment, some idea that I can't shake. It could be something small, like maybe Cole just waiting at a quiet airstrip. He's watching the horizon, getting ready to go on to the next job. Or it could be a single line of dialogue that I hear in my head and I can't get rid of it. And The Tomb of the Jaguar King, I had this idea of a villain named Richard. And Cole Harper, being Cole Harper, when he's introduced to the villain and the guy tells him, "My name's Richard Ashcombe," Cole Harper and his response is, "Well, that's funny because you actually look like a dick." I couldn't get that out of my head. And the next thing I'm writing and I'm figuring everything out as I went. And that's how it starts, not with the plot, not with the ending, just a spark, something that feels dangerous, something that feels like trouble, because that's what keeps the story alive. Now, I don't know what's coming next. And that means Cole doesn't know what's coming next either. And if Cole is walking into the unknown, it feels more real. It feels dangerous. And if I feel it, the readers are going to feel it. And it's the same with your stories. Now, I know you've heard it 1,000 times from every website on writing and every author out there. I've tried outlining before. I've sat down and I've mapped out chapters, beats, twists. And you know what happens? The story dies. The excitement disappears. I'm bored because all I'm doing now is filling in the blanks and I'm writing scenes that I already know. And that's boring. If I know how the book ends, I don't want to read it again. And it's the same thing if I'm writing it. I already know how it ends. I'm writing these stories for me too because I enjoy them and I never know what's going to come next. But when I let the story lead me, things happen that I never expect. Characters show up that I didn't plan on having there. There's a plot twist that I didn't even see coming. And that's what makes it come alive to me because if I'm surprised, you're going to be surprised. Other readers are going to be surprised. Now, when you get to the middle of a book, that's usually where everything just gets the hardest part of the book to write. And it's where I personally usually have to fight tooth and nail to get through all the mess. And yeah, I get stuck too. Just the other day, because I'm currently working on the fifth Cole Harper novel. I had about 28,000 words written, and I just deleted the entire thing because it wasn't going the way I wanted. And I started back over. That sounds like a nightmare, but this is probably the third time I've done this in 3 months. So it's fine. But here's what I've learned when I get stuck, it's not because I don't know what should happen, it's because I'm ignoring what wants to happen. See, the story already told me what it wants to happen, but I just didn't listen. Now, the only way to fix that is I go back. I reread the last few chapters that I've written and I look for the little things that I've missed. And most of the time, the answer is already there, just buried in the details. It's a throwaway line of dialogue or a reaction that I didn't think twice about. And that's what leads me forward. That's what unlocks the next part of the story. Now, the ending, I told you, I never know how a Cole Harper novel is going to end. I have ideas and I know that the tension is building up to some big climactic end, but I have no idea what that is. I know where the danger is, but I don't know the exact moment that everything's going to come crashing down. That happens when I get there. It's going to be the same for me as it is for you, the reader. And that's important because in good stories, endings have to be earned. They have to feel like they came from the choices that the characters made, not me deciding how everything should just get wrapped up nice and neat with a little bow. If Cole survives, it's because he barely made it out. If he wins, it's because he earned it. If he loses, it's because he deserved it. And that's the only way it feels real. Now, it's not about writing just fast. All right. I know most people think outlining takes a lot of time, and it does. And I don't avoid it because it takes too long. This is more about writing an honest first draft. It's messy, it's raw, it's unpredictable. And yeah, that means I'm going to have to go back and clean it up and fix some parts that maybe don't work. And I would rather do that than write something that is safe or predictable. I'd rather have a messy story that feels real than a perfect one that feels fake. Because those messy, realistic stories are what make them good. I don't want to follow, and you don't either, this very formulaic in the 3-act structure. Life doesn't happen in a 3-act structure. There's ups, there's downs, and at the end of it, it's not even really the end. You just barely made it through, and you're going to have to go on to the next thing. And that's what makes these stories so fun to write. That's what makes these stories so fun to read. I love the reviews and all of the emails and messages that I'm getting from you guys. I'm glad you enjoy them because I enjoyed writing them. And if you want the same thing for your books, if you're not enjoying the writing process, they're probably not going to enjoy the reading process. It's- those two things go hand in hand. You have to love the story you're writing. And sometimes you have to let the characters decide for themselves because readers don't really care if your book is tidy. They care if it surprises them. They care if it makes it pull them into that world. And the truer it is, the more raw it is, the more that happens. And if a story surprises them, it's because it surprised me first. And that's why I write that way. I have to trust where the story is going to lead me. And you have to trust where your story is going to lead you, even if neither of us have any clue where it's going yet. So, no, I don't plan everything out in advance. I let the story take shape, one problem, one danger, one terrible decision at a time. And yeah, it's chaotic, but that's the fun part. That's the thrilling part. And honestly, that's really what makes it worth writing. So if you're a writer and you feel stuck, I don't know, maybe your story feels too safe. Maybe you should stop worrying about the plan and just take the next step, write the next line, and start letting the story surprise you because that's where the good stuff is going to come out. It's in the mess. And if you're a reader, just know that every single twist, every single close call, and every single moment where it feels like Cole Harper's luck is about to run out, it wasn't because it was planned. It was because it was earned. If you these behind the scenes looks at how I write, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and then let me know in the comments. Do you plan every detail when you write, or do you figure it out as you go? Or are you trying to search for some kind of happy medium? Right. And do you want to read the kind of stories that unfold in real time? Or do you want to read the ones that follow a nice, neat, clean formula like what Hollywood keeps giving us in all of these adventure movies? Let me know. And that said, where to find the Cole Harper series. Links are in the description. And thanks for watching.